What's up, everybody? Okay, it's me, Alicia, your favorite host. Just kidding. For some reason tonight, I'm super nervous. Like this whole week has been absolutely crazy. Yeah, so first let's thank Parapost Network and JK47 Paranormal, and of course Starship Temperance. Oh, hi, Jenny. So I don't know why, but I'm like super nervous tonight. And like I've done this 100,000 million times, but for some reason I'm just so nervous. Hi, Mike. So I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna get over it. And first I want to talk a little bit about Mercury in retrograde because we just came out of it. But let me tell you something. This is like the most intense. You can hardly hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Anyways, sorry. Let me know if you can hear me better or not. Anyways, see, this is what I'm saying is that this is exactly what I'm talking about. So, Mercury just came out of retrograde, but I'm starting to legit feel the effects of it like now, today. I'm starting to feel the effects of Mercury being in retrograde for the past like two whatever. Okay, yay, he says yay. So I'm starting to feel the effects now of Mercury being in retrograde before. So technical problems, communication problems, overthinking. Let's see what else has been crazy. Anxiety. How about nervousness? All of it. Like it's just I don't know. There was so much clarity that was brought through this Mercury retrograde that I know today I'm feeling it the most. I'm feeling people, places, and things falling off. I'm seeing clarity on relationships, working, personal, just a lot of different aspects of life are, I feel like, maybe falling apart, but also falling into place at the same time. So I don't know. Today has been a weird day for me. So I know I'm probably not the only one um, that has been feeling the effects of Mercury in retrograde after. And this is very new for me. I have never really felt the after effects from it as I was born in Mercury in retrograde. So I always thrive when Mercury's in retrograde, where maybe some people fall backwards, I really thrive. So this is the first time in my whole life that I've felt the aftermath of Mercury in retrograde. Sluggish, yeah, and unmotivated. I agree. I feel very this whole week have I felt very exhausted, like I've needed to sleep. I also feel like I'm getting um downloads as well. I feel like I'm getting downloads from the universe. Feel like I'm getting downloads from my spirit guides. I feel like there's just so much energy that is coming in that it's taking a lot of energy to understand the energy that's coming in. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but there it is. Yeah, Jenny, I'm telling you, it's been rough. So anyways, I'm feeling the effects of it a lot more today. I'm kind of seeing things crumble and fall apart or burst at the seams or having clarity on what you've been manifesting, but maybe it's happening in a lot faster time than you expected it to. It's kind of like the be careful what you wish for because it may happen overnight. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about, I feel like. And the energy that I feel anxious about, I just know that there's change coming. I know that there's change coming, not just for me, but for everybody. And this is the time where it's, you feel like something bad is about to happen. See, I feel the opposite. I know that the new earth is here, right? The higher consciousness. So now you're going to start to see that division of what is the new earth and the old earth. And I guess perception of good and bad, negative and positive, there's always going to be a light and dark, right? So I guess it's from a perspective point of view. Do I think that there's going to be more of a division? Yeah, I do. I think that you're going to see a lower vibration of um, lower vibrational things, right? War, hate, division, arguments, those type of things. And then you're going to see the ascension. You're going to see peace, harmony, love, um, getting togetherness, collaborations, all of those kind of things. So, but yeah, I think that there's going to be a big, huge change. And I think that that change is not only happening, it's like starting to make itself tangible. So if you've used this really past year, if you use the past year's energy to really work on yourself and manifest what you want in this life and manifest what you want for yourself, you're going to start to see it all become tangible, reality. You're going to start to see it be real in your life. And what the part I feel like nobody really talks about in depth is the part that you have to sacrifice. I mean, sacrifice has been around for forever. Like, the whole point of this podcast tonight was to talk about, what we don't talk about, right? And I think sacrifice is a huge one. And I say this every week. I feel like that, yes, we're not sacrificing our children, but we need to sacrifice our old lives, our old thought process, our old everything, really, your old everything, to be able to bring in all of the new opportunities and new energy and new ascension for yourself. And I think sometimes we get stuck in that, and including myself, right? I'm not perfect, I'm not healed, I'm not fucking God. So, like, I do this too. And it's just all about, learning when it's an old thought pattern and when it's an old program to when it's a new programming, right? So sometimes we have old thought process, whether something happens and we get, triggered by something, and it brings us back to maybe something that we thought we healed, but we didn't, maybe. And again, that's what this Mercury in retrograde has been doing and finding its way into my life. And I know I'm not the only one, but I have been being triggered about situations that I thought I had dealt with, that I thought I worked on the healing aspects. And the universe has a way of sneaking in there and being like, oh, hey, maybe you didn't really do that. So let's work a little deeper. And when you work a little deeper, again, you're going to raise your vibration. And again, you're going to be sacrificing those old thought patterns. Those old triggers will no longer affect you in the same way that they used to. And I feel like that's how you can recognize your growth as well, is when you're placed in a situation where you can be triggered in something that you might have been triggered with before, and you don't have a reaction, or you feel differently about it, or you don't cry, or you don't, you just feel calm and okay about whatever that old trigger used to be. You'll still recognize it as, oh, okay, but maybe you don't have the reaction that you used to. And I think that this particular Mercury in retrograde really tested that and tested, are you really healed? Are you really ready to bring in the abundance and love and everything that you're manifesting? Are you really ready to sacrifice those old patterns, those old programming? Because you can say all day long that you're ready to release the old parts of you that no longer serve you, but are you really? Like, let's be real. And that's why we get stuck in cycles, in patterns, and repeating the same relationships and doing the same shit over and over again, is because we're not willing to sacrifice those old parts of us to make room for the new parts of us. And you're never going to get your cake and eat it too with the universe. Like, the universe is like, no, you cannot do that. So it's going to force you right? To sacrifice, to release, to transform, whatever word you want to use in the vocabulary of this human wordship. Sorry, I just make myself laugh sometimes. So whatever you want to say, it has to happen. So you have to be willing to release those old parts of you to bring in the new parts of you. And it's been done forever. So yeah, and I think again, this Mercury in retrograde had like a big WTF, like for real, slapped right across it. So just know that if you've been triggered in the last couple weeks, today, yesterday, just know that pay attention to what that triggered, because that is indeed probably what you need to heal the most to be able to bring in what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. Because again, we're coming out of all these retrogrades with a lot of planets, not just Mercury, and it's time. Like, it's time. I don't know what else to say. It's time. Like, you can literally get what you want and what you've been manifesting like right now if you're willing to sacrifice everything old. If you're willing to take the chance on yourself and, bet on yourself to, if you're going to have courage to make a complete move or a complete change, to have the courage to do it, and the courage to know that the universe is always going to have your back, right? The universe will never bless you with something and then take it away from you. You might outgrow it, you might find a new way from a different perception, but the universe is never going to take something away from you when it blessed you with it. So just remember that. Anytime something changes or doesn't work out in your favor, or doesn't work out in the way that you had envisioned it, or whatever thought it was going to go, it's for your own good. Sometimes, even though we want something, right, which is an egotistical thing, but sometimes, and we all have wants, right, because again, we're in the human body. So even I have wants too, right? But it's those wants. I forgot what I was talking about. I was channeling in, now I'm not. So there's that. All right, so I'm just gonna move on with what we're actually gonna talk about tonight. Because I totally lost that train. It's gone. So I want to talk a little bit about what we don't talk about. Like, I just moved to Connecticut a little while ago from Vermont, and I feel like Vermont has a lot of hidden things that nobody talks about. Like Champlain. Champ. Have you heard of Champ? Champ is in Lake Champlain, right? I don't know. I don't really hear people talk about Champ really. I have heard that the story is that it is the same type of sea monster that is the Loch Ness monster. Um, I don't really know the story of how it got there. I do know that Lake Champlain used to be part of an ocean. So I assume that that would be how the champ, which they call the monster in Lake Champlain, would have gotten there. So I don't know a lot about it. I do know that there have been sightings. I believe anything is possible. If you've been to Lake Champlain, it literally looks like an ocean. It's so big. Like, okay, New York's on the other side, but like you can't see it. It's like, hello, hello, hello. Like it's an ocean. It's just like that. It looks just like an ocean. So Lake Champlain is huge. And was once an ocean. So therefore, I don't doubt that um, what they call the champ. Hi, Britt, love you. That's my beautiful sister. I don't doubt that it's there. I don't know if anybody else has heard any stories about it or have witnessed it themselves. I never have seen it. I've looked 100 million times. I have been to Lake Champlain so many times, but they have waves, and sometimes you think the waves are the little doot 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 things. So unfortunately for me, I have never witnessed champ. in Lake Champlain. So if you have, that's awesome. And I would love for you to share your story. But personally, I never have. So there's that. However, I have stories about, I don't know, do you want to call it Bigfoot, Yeti, um, the abominable snowman? I don't know what, there's so many names for it. I guess every culture calls it something different, right? But what we can say is that every culture has seen it, right? So I believe that there's no denying that. I'm a huge believer in Bigfoot, and let me tell you why. So again, I lived in the backwoods of Vermont, where a lot of shit goes down, a lot of crazy shit you hear at night in the woods. Vermont is very historical. Vermont is pretty untouched, really. There's no billboards. There's no, I think there's one Target in the whole entire state. And I just like, hi, Brent. So, Bigfoot, I don't only have a story from myself. I'm going to share a story. I used to work at the gym at the Queechee Club, and I would talk to a lot of different people every single day. And there was this one gentleman who came in, and he was like kind of nervous and kind of frantic. And he was talking to this group of guys right in front of my counter. And so I was obviously listening because I listened to all the stories. So, anyways, I was listening to him talk, and he's like, I heard this growling out in the woods, and he lived in Pomfret, and that's like real backwoods. Like, he said he had something like 102 acres out there. Like, that's a lot of acreage. That's a lot of dense forest, again, that has been untouched forever, right? So, he was talking to those guys and he was saying he was hearing growling out in the woods. And so he was walking towards it. And he said that he heard like branches breaking, like big branches. And he was like, he was listening to it. And he said he could hear growling, he could hear branches breaking. He said, and not just breaking, but so loudly. He said that he could definitely hear more than one. And he actually had it on his phone, and it was complete darkness. And you could hear whatever it was, you could hear like grunting and growling, like, like, the grunting and growling to me sounded like if you're lifting something heavy and being like, oh, right? Like that. Oh, that's what it sounded like to me. So he has this playing and it's complete darkness, complete blackout. And you can hear the branches breaking. You can hear these things grunting, and you can hear like trees rubbing against each other. Like, I don't know what that sound is, but there's trees like rubbing against each other, right? And he said he went out the next day, and he said that there were trees leaned up in like almost like a teepee thrown into center of trees and placed there. And he showed me pictures, and the only thing I could think of was I watch a million Bigfoot documentaries. Watch a like, right? We all do. We're all interested in what kind of is out there, the unknown. And it looked to me like something that Bigfoot would be doing. And I said to him, because I asked him if I could see, obviously. And I looked at him and I said, Bigfoot does that. That's what Bigfoot does. And he looked at me almost like he's seen it, but he didn't want to say anything about it. Um, but he had the footage on his phone. And he said, it's not Bigfoot, and turned around and walked away. Um, and that was the last time I saw him because that man took his life. He took his own life in those same woods. So yeah, I'll never know. I mean, I guess I could channel him as a psychic medium, but I'll never know what he really saw, and I'll never know what's really on his phone because maybe he didn't show me all of what he had on his phone. Um, that's some eerie shit. Like talking that out loud is like, whoa, that's intense. So yeah, that happened as far as that. And then one night I was driving home from the gym, or one morning, I don't know. I worked really early in the morning when it was still dark. So I must have been driving to the gym, and um I looked over, and I always took the back road through the woods, like deep woods, no cell service. Again, Vermont doesn't really have a lot of cell service. So I'm driving down this road that goes from West Hartford to Queechee, and I'm driving down that road, and there's like a farm and a tree line that sits up on the hill. And that set of woods is backed up to Pomfret. So, like, if you drive down the road and on the other side of the mountain, that would be Pomfret. So, it's the same woods as the guy who showed me the footage of what he had and told me the story of what he heard. And it was sunrise, and I'm going to work. And I remember having this like very eerie feeling come over me, almost like someone staring at me kind of thing. And I'm in my car, and there's not any cars on the road because it's really early. And I remember turning and looking up, and it was like kind of far away, maybe 2 football fields away. The road is from um the road from the top of where the tree line is. And like, I for real, so, like, I swear on everything, I saw an outline of what I would say is Bigfoot. And when I turned around and looked, and it was a little far away, however, it was very big, and it was standing upright, and it was like a brownish, blackish color, right? And it was standing up, and I was in my car, and the windows were down, and I remember looking over and stopping my car dead in the road and looking, and it was walking, and as soon as it saw my car stop, it stopped and just like stood there like this. And I was like, no fucking way. Right. And so I look, and I move my car a little bit. And as soon as I moved it a little bit, it like jarted into the woods. And I was like, no fucking way. But I mean, I saw what I saw. And I stand on that. Like, Piper. Oh, Piper's my niece. Hi, baby. And Piper has a gift too. And it's her birthday. So happy birthday, Piper. So that's my story about Bigfoot. It only happened that one time, but it happened in the same area where I was seeing, and um it happened in the same area that this guy was also seeing and hearing. So I don't know. Again, he took his life, and he was such a beautiful soul. Um, but yeah, so he's in a better place now. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I could see the footage again. But again, that was many years ago. So that's my story with Bigfoot. I know that they um, get evidence all the time. I know there's footprints. I know there's just so much evidence that you can't really deny it. So it will be only a matter of time when that comes to light too. Because remember, we're in the age of Aquarius where everything is going to come to the light. So if you want answers about anything, they're all going to come to the light in the age of Aquarius. That's what it's meant to do. So we'll just hang in there and wait to see what happens. But I'm pretty sure that there will be something that pops up shortly where there will be a tangible physical evidence, good enough to prove that there are species out there of Bigfoots, whatever you want to call them, other species. I feel weird giving them a label. Um, so yeah, I know that we all kind of scroll probably sometimes once in a while, maybe in the bathroom, maybe in your free time. I don't know. But I've been seeing a lot of things on Himalayan salt being giants. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It's interesting, that's for sure. Um, I want to talk about like faces in the rocks. And I just feel like some of them are so undeniable. Sure, we have a thing in our brain where we, can make images out of things that are not really there. So some things, sure, like can be debunked or taken as not a sign or symbol or whatever. But when you have so many of one thing, um, my cats are like arguing. I don't know if anybody else's cats argue. Children, can you please get along? like, so I just feel like there's too many kind of faces, right, in the rocks, or elephants in the rocks, or that are big. And one of them being, I grew up in New Hampshire, right? So I grew up always going to the old man in the mountain. And it really did look like an old man, and it just kind of makes you wonder, like, I haven't really studied that aspect of mythology or history, whatever you want to call it, but I haven't really gotten into it, but I've been seeing it a lot more come up, and I'll be interested to study it. But just again, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. Like, I eat Himalayan salt. So I don't know. But I just feel like there are things that are built that are unexplainable, that are really big. And I don't know how else they would have been built. So yeah, I have questions about that. So I don't know if anybody else thinks about these things either, but I'm glad that I can talk about it tonight, because these are the things that are on my mind. Like, people ask me, like, what do you think about all day? This shit, man. This, like, like giants and Himalayan salt. Like, I've been hearing a lot about feral people in the Appalachian Mountains. Well, I believe that's true. The I believe that's true. Um, yeah, the Appalachian Mountains are a crazy place to be. That's probably somewhere I wouldn't go. Even like investigating and stuff, I don't know if I would want to go there. I know that when I drive through it, I just keep on keep on driving, baby. Yeah, so I've heard that too. It's eerie. Like, everything's eerie. These places are eerie, but like it's pretty fantastic at the same time too. But like, there's, I don't know, it's just, I feel like there's so much that hasn't been discovered, or it's been hidden from us, that again, I think a lot of this stuff is going to come to the light, and we're going to get a lot more answers that we've been looking for. Um we live right in the middle of it. Jenny is the Appalachian people. But no, seriously, um I just, it makes you wonder, right? It makes me wonder, right? It makes me wonder how some of these caves and cave systems, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of rocks, and how do you get to it, and how did these people get to it? I really feel like we as a civilization now are really dumbed down. I think that every I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that's being hidden, and we're being dumbed down to not excel to where we could really be because of greed. But that's just my personal opinion. But I'm just fascinated by things that keep popping up, or even new things to me, like that I watch new documentaries on, maybe like a cave system that was found so far up and you could only get there by ropes. Like, okay, cool. Let's talk about like how that originated. Where did that thought come from? What were they running from? Were they running from anything? Like, and how did they get there? Maybe they had an elevator, like, that was way better than any elevator that we could ever think of. Like, nobody really even knows. These are the type of shit that I think about. Um, but it just makes me wonder a lot of times, like, w- how, how, right? How did all of this happen? And how was it manifested? And what were the parts to it where it came together? And, did they use the energy of the universe? Was it built during full moon? Was it built, during solstice? Was it Me and Mike sit out in the fire and listen to the scary stories from this area. Yeah, well, listen, I do a lot of creepy shit, but listening to scary Appalachian stories in the Appalachia around a fire scares the hell out of me. I'm running inside. That's the real terror. That's like the real crazy shit that happens. But, I don't know, I think about it a lot, and I think about like what's really out there, and will we ever as a society be able to come together to be able to preserve it, or to find real answers, and find out what the real secret is, and how we can tap into that, and how we can utilize it to not only help our own lives, but help the earth, and the universe, and what we're supposed to be doing here, and on track of you know getting back on track from being distracted for so long, right? Hi, Crystal. So I don't know, I think about these things a lot, and um I don't know if anybody's watched or read or listened to the Emerald Tablets of Troth. Like, I don't know, that shit is wild to me. It's just like every word that is spoken in that is so powerful. Like, I cried, I laughed, I had epiphanies, I agreed, I was mind blown. It's just so many different things, and this was found by a researcher who was doing shit in Mexico with the Mayans. And he found it and he turned it over, but first he analyzed as much as he could. And Troth obviously comes from ancient Egypt. And when ancient Egypt was crashing, they were sending prophets all around so that not all of the knowledge got lost, right? If you keep all the prophets in one place that's crashing, you could lose all of the wisdom and knowledge and information that needs to be passed forward. And so what they did was they sent gods and goddesses and prophets all around so that they could keep the wisdom. And Troth happened to go to the Mayans in Mexico, and he had, you know, this emerald tablet, and it's super powerful. Like, why are we not learning about that? Why are they not talking about that? And, instead of talking about y- the next reality star or some shit, like, why are we not really focusing on what's important, which is our physical, our spiritual, our mental? Like, it's not about what's being distracted. It's about remembering and understanding the wisdom and knowledge that we come here with from generations and generations and generations, right? Um, and it's crazy that all this stuff is just like popping up, popping up, that's been around for so long. So I don't know. I just think the more that we get into the age of Aquarius, the more that we're going to learn about these things. And the more that, maybe we retaliate to know the truth, or to know what's inside of the Sphinx, right? What's inside of the Sphinx? Nobody knows, because the government keeps us out of there. So it's like, what's in there? Why do you keep us out of there? What's the purpose of shutting the Sphinx off to society if it's an ancient landmark, right? So I don't know. I have a lot of questions about that. So I don't know if anybody else thinks about those kind of things. Again, I just really wonder what is being hidden, right? And they have proof that the Mayans were all the way up in Utah. So, like, that's never talked about, right? Nobody ever talks about um why they had to go up to Utah, right? Because of the Spaniards, right? That came over. But all this stuff I feel like is super important to know about and to learn about, because it's the truth. It's what the truth is. And I think the truth is what is important to understand the background of society in general. If I could travel back in time, learn the truth. Yes, exactly. Same, right? Like it's just there's so many speculations and people want to talk about this and people want to talk about that and put their emotions into it. Like where's the facts? Like where's the actual facts? I listen, I understand you're passionate about it and you love it and you want to talk about it from your heart space. Where's the facts? Like, I want to know about Jesus. I want to know where his body is. I want to know the facts. I want to know, y- you know, every prophet I've ever learned about, I've read their writings. Like, I just want to know. I just have questions. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying it's fake. I'm not saying that. I have questions. I want to know. Like, I have questions about Lady Magdalene. Like, I want to know where all of these people are buried. I want to know. I have questions, right? I can't be the only one who has questions about this. Like I can't be the only one that says such a big profit regardless of who, where, why is there no writings from this prophet? Why is there no physical body? Like I just have questions, right? I just have questions. I'm not saying it is or isn't. I just have questions. And I just can't be the only one on the face of this earth that wonders about it sometimes, right? Let's see. Oh, I have a good one too. What I think about this a lot too. Um, Hi Raymond. I think about how animals are so in touch with the earth and the universe that they know to lay down when it's going to rain. They know to seek higher ground when there's going to be a flood. They know, like, if you have a service dog, they know if you're going to have a seizure. They know if you have anxiety. They can detect cancer. They can I just have a lot of questions about that. I've heard people, because I also do animal communication, right? And animal Reiki. And I feel like a lot of times I'm communicating with one soul, but I've also been told that there are multiple souls inside animals. So it makes me wonder if there are multiple souls inside of animals or if it's one soul inside of animals. And it makes me wonder, is there no veil between animals and this realm and that realm? Like, how do they know that it's going to rain? How do they know to seek higher ground if it's going to flood like that? Hi, JK. So I just like, I don't, I just have a lot of questions, specifically about cows, to be exact. Um, I just feel like, hope you're having a good night, JK. I just, I feel like cows specifically, I think my service dog needs a service dog after chilling with me. I know they're the best. Obviously animals are healers too. But like what cows specifically, right? Cows are so smart. They are empathic. They are um you know they're empathic. They are healers. They know when it's going to flood. They know when something drastic is going to happen. They know if the food isn't good. Like I just have questions about like when a cow or when an animal is reincarnated back into this life, what they know that they're coming in to either serve as a sacrifice as meat for people to consume. Do they know that they're coming in to be a pet? Do they know, like, I don't know. I I don't know. To be fair, diseases like cancer have a scent. Yeah. So maybe okay, so maybe like it's a certain scent in the air when like it's going to rain a lot like that. Um Bulls run towards the storm. Interesting. I didn't know that. Cats do a form of Reiki. Yeah, of course. I think that when you have a cat, I feel like cats are super magical in their own way. I know that my cat for me is definitely my healer. I can feel like not good, sick, or something, and take a deep breath, and my cat is coming from wherever and whenever and right on my chest. Cats have this amazing sixth sense. And again, it goes back to Egypt too, where they were worshipped, right? And so it again, it's just I have so many questions about like where and when and why. And I feel like again, it's another cycle of awakening, because I think that we go through cycles of awakening many times, and I don't think we just go like Dolores Cannon says that there's 12 stages of awakening, but I don't think that we just do those 12 stages of awakening like one time. I don't think you go through stage 1 and you complete that and you're like, "Oh, hey." No, I don't think it's like that. I think that you could go from stage 1 to 10, 12, whatever, and then do it again. I think that it is a cycle. I just think that you're more woke the next time you go around. And I think that I really am at a stage where I have a lot of questions about deeper things, about what's being hidden, and trying to understand how to figure out how to bring those things to the surface like that. Um, JK, your cats are not a-holes. It's how you treat them, I'm sure. Don't forget that what you name your cat is gonna determine how your cat also acts too. So if you name your cat a-hole, or if you call your cat an a-hole, your cat's gonna act like an a-hole. So maybe you should be nicer to your cats, JK. Just saying. Anyways, um, also another thing that I've been a little bit thinking about. I know I feel like this episode's kind of like ADHD. It's kind of like my mind. Welcome to my mind. Lucy and Milo. I love that. I love how everybody has a cat or a dog. Anyways, my mind is a little bit like this. So, welcome to an inside view of a psychic medium's mind. Okay, so the next thing I was brought to my attention are eye color, which is kind of interesting, right? Because everybody has a different eye color. But not only are we going to talk about eye color, but there's a ring around your eye, and some people have a black ring and some people have a blue ring. And I never even realized that. I guess I never paid that much attention to rings around the eye. But if you look at your own eye, or you look at somebody else's eyes, you'll notice that there is a ring around it. So it's either black or it's blue. It's pretty interesting. I personally have a blue ring around my eyes, and so does my daughter, and so did my mom. Um, and when you have a blue ring around your eye, it represents that you're not from this earth, that you're reincarnated from a different place, which I already knew, because I feel like I'm only here temporarily, and I think I'm only here to learn lessons and to spread a message. So that's what I'm trying to do to the best of my ability. I have hazel eyes that tend to change colors. Yeah, same. And hazel, I think, is a really rare color. I know my eyes have been turning more gray lately. I have a deep blue eye, um, and it also I also learned that if you have deep colored eyes, that you have trauma that you're healing from. I also learned that hazel are rare, and that they tend to tie to native. Um, Welcome to Alicia Mind, please. Hands are free during the ride. Yeah, seriously. Um, it's wild, right? But yeah, it's eye color. I recommend watching YouTube if you do have questions about like your eye color, or just learning about yourself and your lineage. Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what I mean by lineage. Like, because I believe that it all is connected to our lineage, and it almost it's like it's almost like every little piece of ourselves is a sign and symbol. And I talk about this all the time about signs and symbols and how it leads us to where we need to be. And every mark on our body, every piece of our physical body is representation of who we are and what we're connected to. And you can look it up like, I'm a Pisces rising. I have fucked up teeth. I have fucked up teeth because I'm a Pisces rising. It's literally shows and tells you down to your physical features um, the connection to the universe, to the connection to the physical body. It literally shows you the connection. So it's crazy when you start to really learn about yourself. And I highly recommend you learn about yourself. Um, let's see. JK says, what are you feeling about the date 9924? I'm feeling something. Um, I I'll be in Jamaica doing my retreat. No, I think when I hear 99, I feel wrapping up of something and beginning something new. I always love the number nine because it means change. It doesn't have to mean change in a bad way, it can be change in a good way. I know a lot of people have, like, I don't watch the news or I don't watch TV. I don't really, I don't listen to the radio. I pretty much just learn about things that are on my crazy mind. But a lot of people are asking me lately about what I think about the upcoming election and if there's going to be riots or this or that. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't have an answer. Um, I wish I did, but I don't. I know that I try not to think about those things. I'm trying to really deprogram and detach from those things. Um, so in my mind, I think love and light and flowers and rainbows and shit. So like in my mind, I hear 99 and I'm like, ooh, that is definitely a great day to wrap something up and start something new, especially 99. That's a huge portal. So 99 is always ending of everything old to bring in something new like that. So that's what I feel about 9/9. I feel like that's a Monday. Definitely, but it is gonna wrap something up. It is going to something is gonna change. Something is gonna wrap up and something new will begin. So yeah, so like again, like I'm a number 8, right? And so I wear glasses, right? Because if you take your glasses off, they look like a number 8. So all number 8s pretty much wear glasses, right? And it's not that I can't see anything. I'm a clairvoyant. I see everything, right? It's because it magnifies everything. So again, it's a sign and symbol that is connected to my energy field and to who I am spiritually and physically. Um, it's a day before the presidential debate. Yeah, so there is going to be change. Hopefully it's good change. Hopefully it's peace and harmony. So that's all I can do is send love out to that. Because politics tends to get a little cray cray because people put their emotions into it, which is ego. But I guess that's a different day. So again, back to like signs and symbols on your physical body. So your eye color is going to tell you something about yourself. The accessories that you wear are going to tell something about yourself, right? Your birthmarks. Yes. So people have birthmarks, and birthmarks tend to come in different, shapes, forms, places on your body, different colors. Um, and people that have like a red birthmark maybe on their face or somewhere that's very visible, it's to teach them confidence. It's to shed whatever trauma they went through in their past life, and gain the confidence of their beauty within and on the outside. So that's pretty amazing. I know that for me, I have a birthmark on my leg, that looks like an island. It's light brown, which tells me that I've been there in a past life and that I need to go there in this life to wrap up a cycle that was unfinished in my last life. And my birthmark, I'm very confused. It tends to look like Jamaica and it tends to look like Puerto Rico. So I'm testing both. I don't know. But what's funny about that is, I think I talked about this before, is that my cousin has the exact same birthmark on the opposite leg, and she moved and retired to Florida. So hers looks like Florida because it's flipped and it's on the opposite leg. So it's kind of crazy when you start thinking about where your birthmarks are located. I know that when my daughter was born, she had a red one right here on her throat and right here on her back of her neck. And it makes me wonder, because we have direct ties back to Salem witch trials, if that is a mark from maybe how she passed either then or in her last life. So, it's really neat to look at the marks on your body, to see again where maybe you've been and where you're going, because your body will tell you. It's just, are you looking for it? Are you familiar with it? Again, I have, I don't know if you can see it, but I have the witch's freckle on my palm. So I was born with that. And I think that that was a great indication that I also had a gift to connect to the spirit world. But again, nobody was talking about palmistry in the 80s. So at least nobody I knew. So the more that you can learn about yourself, the more you can say, okay, you can put together your past life. You can put together maybe where you're going in the future, like that. But I think it's important to understand where you came from and to understand what you desire in this life, because what you desire is where you want to be going. Um, as long as you're doing everything with pure intentions, the universe is going to reward you. And a lot of times, a reward can look like your life falling apart. So, when we are manifesting and we are trying to put together something different, again, things are going to fall out of your life, people, places, and things. Um, and it's to make room for what you want to bring in, or to what is aligned for you to go to that next level in your journey. So sometimes when you feel like your life is falling apart, it's actually falling right into place. So if you can just keep moving forward, and even though it hurts and some days are really hard, just give thanks for those days that are hard, because without those hard days, you're never going to move forward. You would just stay stuck in the same place. So when we give thanks for the really good days that we have, we also need to remember to give thanks to the hard days too, because they all balance and they all play a role in our journey and our healing process. So, um, this is Lulu. She chose us. So, yeah, exactly. It just keeps swimming. And, do it with integrity and do it without regret and do it with pure intention. And the universe will never let you down. So, this was extremely fun tonight. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me through the crazy mind of Alicia, because this is the shit I think about all the time. So it was fun talking to you guys about it. I really appreciate everybody that tunes in, and I will see you guys. Oh, let me tell you. Let me see you guys next week from Jamaica. So it's been 11 years in the making. I have worked really hard to put this retreat together. My awakening started in Jamaica when my mom died, and I'm going back there, and I'm going back there hosting a retreat. And I did it. It took me 11 years to get back there, and I did it. This is a huge accomplishment for me. This is huge. This is something that I only used to dream about. This is something that I used to be doing in my Reiki room, channeling, visualizing, feeling, understanding. And I'll be on a plane next week watching my manifestations, my, you know, goals become a reality. So, even though it took 11 years, I never gave up, ever, not once. I never once gave up. I did change the date, which was good because the old date, there was a hurricane that hit. So, yeah, I just, it's a huge milestone. So next week I will be tuning in from Jamaica. So stay tuned. I'm gonna give you an update on my retreat and let you know how it goes. So love you guys so much. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to tune into the Parapost Network and JK Paranormal and Starship Temperance. Love you guys.